You're undergoing a lot of stress, 2.2. If not, 1.6. Just don't go below 1.6. If somebody were to say to you while you're eating, hey, what are the ingredients in that? I want you to be able to look at them and be like, just so you guys know, yeah, that's what the recommendation is. You want to follow that? No, you don't. I don't want to just lose all of my money in supplements. Here's what we want to take. You're going to be a little bit more conscious of what you're eating, and that's the main reason that you'll notice you lose weight. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Bonde on Cheer. My name is Bonde, and here we have honest conversations about coaching, business, leadership, and long-term athlete development in cheerleading. Today, we got another nutrition series episode for you, and I think I've probably beaten everybody senseless with the importance of habituation and structure with regard to nutrition. But in case you've already forgotten or you haven't watched those episodes, we're going to run really quickly through the three, okay? The first one is that we need to know what we're eating and when we're eating it and why we're eating that every day, all right? We need to figure that out. It seems difficult. I promise you it's not. We're going to make it a habit. Number two is that we need a meal preparation day. We need a day set aside where we prepare our meals for each day, whether that's cooking lunch ahead of time because that's when you're at work, or it's cooking dinner so you don't stop on your way home because you know you got dinner waiting. All right, preparing meals to eat in the first degree. And then the last is a grocery shopping day. You have to have a day where you go to the grocery store. I can't tell you how many times I've gone a week without going to the grocery store, and my whole next week was like chaos. That one thing alone throws off my whole food routine. So I can only imagine it does the same for everybody. Know what you're going to eat and when and why. Grocery shopping day, meal preparation day. That's it. Without those habits and that structure, you're going to be fighting an uphill battle with regard to your nutrition, especially long-term progress, okay? See, I experienced this struggle with nutrition firsthand. Like everybody else, nutrition has been a very tricky thing for me my entire life. I got lost going down the rabbit hole of the diets, just like everybody, right? The keto, the vegan, the Pritikin, the Atkins, the Whole30, the Weight Watchers, the Paleo 2.0. If it fits your macros, there's an endless number of diets that are the one diet that works, right? How is that possible? It's not really possible, right? We've talked about it in another video. It's the underlying mechanism, right? It's the structure. It's the you have to follow a thing. You can find a paper or papers supporting any diet. So what we're going to talk about today are universal principles, things that people can apply regardless of personal preference. You like to eat meat, you can eat meat. If you like to eat veggies and tofu, you can eat veggies and tofu. Just do it within the parameters or following these nutrition rules of thumb that we're going to talk about in this episode. We're going to make this simple with these rules of thumb, okay? Rule of thumb number one, and you're going to laugh at me because I'm going to say it and you're going to be like, you lied to me, Bonde. That's not simple. Rule number one is aim to consume 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. All right, now why am I saying it like that? Because I just talked about simplification. Some people are going to be like, you got to be kidding me. The reason I'm saying it like that is because that is the gold standard recommendation for protein consumption. However, I don't want you guys to be intimidated by these phrases, okay? People start using grams and kilograms, and you're like, no, I don't know. First off, 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram body weight. How much do I weigh in kilograms? Take your body weight in pounds, divide it by 2.2, you're good to go. All right, that's close enough. We don't need to complicate it. Now, in the blog, I write out 2.205 because that's a little bit more accurate, but 2.2, okay? Body weight in pounds divided by 2.2. I'm 88 kilograms. How much protein should I be eating? 88 times 2.2. I'm going to use 2.2 because I exercise a lot. I put a lot of demand on my body. So to be able to support, repair, and grow and restore and all that good stuff, I want to be on the high end, all right? So that works out to be like 193 grams of protein, which if I weigh 195 pounds, 193, 195. If you're somebody that struggles to eat protein, just don't go below 1.6, okay? 1.6 grams per kilogram of body weight. The overly simplified rule of thumb is 1 gram per pound of body weight, but I don't think that you guys need to. That's a little excessive. I like the 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilogram because there's that range. You exercise a lot, you're undergoing a lot of stress, 2.2. If not, 1.6. Just don't go below 1.6, okay? Take your weight in pounds, divide it by 2.2, multiply that by 1.6. All right, that's how many grams of protein you should be eating every day. Sound good? let's move on. Rule of thumb number 2, stick to whole foods, all right? And I don't mean the grocery store, and I know that's a stupid joke, but I'm serious. Some people might be like, oh man, Whole Foods is too expensive. No, I just mean foods that have 1 to 2 ingredients. If somebody were to say to you while you're eating, hey, what are the ingredients in that? I want you to be able to look at them and be like, chicken. What's in it? Sweet potato, like it's a sweet potato, right? You don't want to have to be like, hold on a second, actually. Let me get my readers because there's 50 words on this bag or box of whatever I'm eating, okay? That's where you cut out a lot of the crap. If you can follow a diet that's mostly whole foods, with foods that have 1 to 2 to maybe 3 ingredients, you're going to be cutting out a lot of the stuff that you shouldn't be eating. And anything can be healthy in moderation, all right? Anything can fit into an eating pattern in moderation. But if you just stick to whole foods, then you're already going to be cutting out 99% of the crap. So think, chicken, tofu, beef, eggs, banana, avocado, blueberries, like all of those things are what they are. The ingredients are that thing. Water doesn't count. So you can't be like, oh, well, no, there's 3 because water. No, water doesn't count. All right. The less ingredients, the better. And this doesn't mean that you can't eat foods that have a lot of ingredients in them. It's just you should be eating the majority foods that have 1 to 2 ingredients, all right, as a rule of thumb. Rule of thumb number 3, and this is a fun one for me. Aim to get a minimum of 72 ounces of water in every day. Why 72 ounces? Well, I did my research. The most common reusable water bottle size is 24 ounces, okay? So take that 24-ounce bottle and aim to drink it 3 times. Pro tip for you all, start early. Because if you get to 5 p.m. and you need to drink 60 ounces of water, you're going to feel like you're drowning yourself until bed, and then you're going to wake up and pee every hour on the hour. Start early, and then it's not that bad. 72 ounces is a completely manageable minimum and something everybody should be striving for. Now, I went down the rabbit hole of hydration because I, at one point in time, felt like I was seeing a new hydration packet company pop up everywhere, right? It was like the electrolyte drinks, the electrolyte packets. You had Element, you got like Drip Drop, Hydration Labs. I don't know. There's so many of them. I can't keep track. And I was like, did these do anything? These things are expensive. So I dug in. I went and looked at the research, and I found the actual like best scientific prescription for hydration or water consumption that we have. And that is 1 to 1.5 milliliters per calorie of energy expenditure per day. All right. Just so you guys know. Yeah, that's what the recommendation is. So you want to follow that? No, you don't. Just go 72 ounces. Okay. And then, that should be 3 of your water bottles. All right. Or whatever your water bottle size. All right. Take that, divide 72 by that number. That's how many times you should drink your water bottle. Okay. And I read that and I was like, oh my Lord, no wonder people don't, have any sort of like good metric for hydration. And I have a whole blog post on that. So if you guys want to read, I wrote a whole blog post on hydration and I broke all of that down for those of you that are nerds like me. For those of you that aren't, really quickly, I just want to let you know, they use TDEE, the total daily energy expenditure, okay? Most people are like, I don't even know what that is. That's fair. Not many people do, but it is a relevant metric, okay? And one that I help you figure out with the nutrition calculator that I have. So you should get that and you should figure out your total daily energy expenditure because we can use that for a number of things, evidently water consumption as well. If you were to take me, all right, my total daily energy expenditure is 3,791 calories, okay? So I would multiply that by, I'll go in the middle, 1.25. That is 4,739 milliliters, okay? And the conversion of milliliters to ounces, for every 1 milliliter, you have 0.03 ounces. So I'm going to multiply that 4,739 milliliters by 0.03, and that would give me about 142 ounces of water every day, okay? If I haven't lost you yet, I'm very proud of you because even I'm boring myself talking about this. I just want you guys to know that is the level at which you can complicate things. Don't do that, okay? Find somebody, obviously use me as an example, who likes to do that stuff and likes to sift through all of it and likes to do that math and in the conversions. I enjoy it. That's why I went to school for it. Find somebody that's a good resource and find them and only listen to them if they give you a simple rule of thumb because that's what's actually going to work, okay? So with me having just explained all of that, hydration, all right, 72 ounces of water, just shoot for that. Take your water bottle, whether it's 8 ounces, 12 ounces, 24 ounces, 72 divided by that number, okay? If it's a 12-ounce water bottle, then you need to drink that 6 times throughout the day. Start early. You will notice the difference, okay? But rule of thumb, 72 ounces, get it however you can. That's it for hydration, okay? We're moving on. Rule of thumb number 4, don't forget to take your vitamins, kids and adults, okay? Bonde, which one should I take? I don't want to just lose all of my money in supplements and be taking things that I'm just pretty much like peeing out the ingredients, which you absolutely can do. Here's what we want to take. A multivitamin, okay? Vitamin D3 and K2, magnesium, fish oil, some sort of omega-3 and 6, creatine. All right? That's it. That's all we need to focus on taking. And yes, you should take those every day, just like food. Don't overlook it. Take those things every day. What I would do if I were you is find a company. Okay, I like Thorne, and I do have a discount code for people who are in search of a new place to get their vitamins and minerals and all that good stuff. I use Thorne. I like Thorne. It is clinically backed. It's very scientific based. They do research. They have third-party lab testing on the quality ingredients of their products. It has a subscribe option, and when you subscribe, you save a good chunk of money. So I have it set up so that I just have my multivitamins and vitamins and all of those just shipped, all right, whenever it is that I should run out. And if I take them every day, it's pretty much perfect so that I get my next round. All right, I'm not trying to sell you on Thorne. I'm just saying this is one of those things, like habits, right? Don't make it so that you find yourself being like, oh my God, I ran out of my multivitamin and my D3 and all that, because then you're going to procrastinate. You're not going to order it. And then you're going to, 3 weeks is going to go by, and taking vitamins is all about consistency. You start to notice a change in how you feel and function after like 3-4 months, right? And when you stop, it's obviously not like a hard reset right then and there, but you don't want to wait. So just make sure that you have these things on hand, okay? It's just like going to the grocery store. I don't want to talk too much about dosing or any of that. It's just, you should be taking vitamins. Those are the 5 that I would say you absolutely need to take. I'm almost 30. I'm going to be 30 this year, everybody, okay? It's crazy. Where has the time gone? A whole new decade of my life, which is just crazy to say. I'm not yet. I'm not 30 yet. I'm still 29. I can tell you that I wasn't taking vitamins or minerals or anything, and the difference that I feel now taking vitamins consistently, I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I have my youth back. Like I feel 18 again. I was feeling very lethargic, like I was under recovering, even when I was trying to recover. And the vitamins made a huge impact. It's like the one thing I changed. I always watch what I eat, and I always exercise. So sleep conscious. I don't even like use blue light after like 7. I have blue light glasses. Like I look after everything, okay? It's not like I wasn't eating and then started eating and taking multivitamins. It was like, oh my God, the multivitamins. No. Okay, so that's rule of thumb number 4. Take vitamins, very good for you. Good habit to have. All right, last bonus rule of thumb. Rule of thumb number 5. Now this is a Bonde rule of thumb, okay? This isn't one of those things that I would say you're gonna find preached across the industry. Okay, this is me. This is my personal, after spending the last decade being a nutrition science nerd, reading textbooks, sifting through research, running experiments on myself and clients. This is what I found to make a great impact. People are very happy with this change, and one that I think is universal to individuals. I'm not going to get into it too much because it's very nerdy. I'm talking like molecular and cellular biology kind of nerdy. I'll put you guys to sleep. So we're just going to do a summary of this rule of thumb. Rule of thumb number 5 is to move your carbohydrate intake to later in the day or after you work out. Bonde, what are you talking about? Why are we doing that for? Let me explain quickly. Okay. Our body has a number of different ways in which it can burn energy. All right. Those are called the different metabolic pathways. There's also something called the Randle cycle, which is basically like a metabolic switch. It's metabolic flexibility. Our body goes back and forth between what kind of substrate it's using for energy, all right? Predominantly fats and carbs, right? We, as human beings, are able to store a lot of glucose or carbohydrates, okay, in the form of glycogen. The average 70 kilogram male, if my memory is serving me, has about 300 to 400 grams of glucose stored in the form of glycogen at all times, all right? So if I eat a carb-heavy meal, or if yesterday I ate carbs, I wake up in the morning and what do I have? 400 grams of carbs in my body ready to go, okay? The muscle feeds the muscle, the liver feeds the body. So we store glycogen in the muscle and liver. Muscle is selfish. It's like, no, this is me. That's an evolutionary thing. It's like we need to be able to fight or flight, okay? So the muscle keeps its own glycogen stores. It's got a bunch of glucose ready to go. The liver, it's got about 100 of those grams in it, okay? But it can use that to fuel the body, whatever cells might need it, the brain, anything, okay? At rest, so I wake up in the morning, I ate carbs yesterday. I got 400 grams of carbs ready to go in my body. At rest, I haven't done anything. My body's using primarily fat as its main fuel source, okay? Fat gives us way more ATP per 16 carbon chain fatty acid than one molecule of glucose, okay? So our body likes to use fat. It takes a long time for us to actually break it down fully, but we get way more ATP when we do, so that's why we like to use it at rest. When we start getting more active and requiring energy faster, our body starts going, okay, we need glucose. But when we do that, our body goes, okay, we got some in the liver that we're able to use. And if we're using our muscles, our body's like, but we also have a lot in the muscles, okay? So if we wake up, we haven't worked out, we haven't done anything, our body's a fat burning machine. By the end of the day, we've probably exhausted the glucose stores in our liver, all right? So the glycogen is now depleted in the liver. If I exercise, I've now depleted not only my liver glycogen, but most likely my muscle glycogen as well. So after I exercise, my body is now, and we have specific glucose transporters that come to the surface of the muscle after we've exercised and say, give me all that glucose. So we've now created an environment after working out and not eating carbohydrates yet, okay? Our body was able to use the carbohydrates that we have internally, what I like to call endogenous carbohydrates. So that now when we eat exogenous carbohydrates, we introduce them to the body, our body doesn't want to store them as fat. It wants to put them in the glycogen stores. This is very oversimplified, okay? Very oversimplified. But it's one of those things that I've used as a tool to help people, help myself, and you don't have to be following any sort of diet, right? So you're getting the best of both worlds. That's why I like this way of eating, okay? Because I'm not telling anybody to not eat. You're going to be a little bit more conscious of what you're eating, and that's the main reason that you'll notice you lose weight. But there are some biological principles behind it, okay? I like to use the analogy of putting gas in a car. If you took your car to the gas station on your way home from work yesterday, you wouldn't wake up in the morning and then on your way to work stop and get gas, because you're not going to be able to put the gas in the gas tank. It's full. So you're going to have to put the gas somewhere else in the car that you don't want it, like in the back seat or in the trunk. You don't want it there. So when we wake up in the morning and our carbohydrate stores are full, we've got glycogen in the muscle, we got glycogen in the liver. Your body doesn't want to use those carbohydrates right now because you're not doing anything. It wants to burn fat because you get more energy there. Then it has to go somewhere you don't want it, which would be adipose tissue, right? Or fat cells. So I'm done. I told you I could talk about this, I think, endlessly. This is my take, okay? I'm not trying to say that this is like the absolute, this is the only way you should eat ever. Those are the rules of thumb, everybody. Hopefully, we simplified it enough. I showed you some intimidating words and equations and then tried to break it down so you guys are like, oh, okay, that wasn't as scary as it originally seemed. And I think that's important because the difference between people who are able to listen to this advice and actually implement it are those who aren't intimidated by it and can make sense of it. So you can either listen to me if you like my voice and you like listening to me talk, even though I ramble sometimes, or you can find somebody else, or you can just learn about this stuff so that you can decipher it yourself. But don't get turned off because it seems complicated at first glance. It's not. You can simplify all of this stuff, okay? Those have been the rules of thumb. That was, I think, number 3 of the nutrition series. As you can tell, we're starting to get a little more nutrition-y, a little more nutrition specific, so you guys can take these tangible rules of thumb and implement them into your life, all right? And I hope that you do. But I'll cut it off here. All right, everybody, I think it's been a little bit of a longer episode. I've enjoyed it. I had to stop myself on that one. So thank you, everybody who continues to listen, support, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. This has been Bonde with Bonde on Cheer, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.